12 years ago, Danny Brown dropped the album that got a lot of people checking out his music. 12 years ago, Danny Brown dropped Triple X or XXX or 30, depending on how you want to pronounce it. 30, coincidentally, also dropped while Danny Brown was 30 years old. So a lot of people, I'm sure Danny himself included, would consider this to be kind of a milestone record, a record to date Danny Brown at that point in time. What does Danny Brown sound like at 30, and what is he going to sound like going forward? I mean, we've gotten the majority of his music, I feel, in his 30s. So, that album definitely set the tone for what was to come. Now, as time went on, people get older. Danny Brown started to approach 40, and a lot of people were thinking, oh, well, is the 40 album coming out? And Danny himself kind of mentioned it here and there. His 40th birthday came around, no release. 41, nothing. And during this whole time, he kind of mentioned there might be some label issues or someone's holding it hostage, I guess. And even on his podcast, he was kind of starting a campaign to get people to at somebody at the record label to get it to release. And now, at 42, Danny Brown just announced the release of Quaranta will be November 16th, 2023. And to accompany this, he's bringing us a single, Tantor, with production from The Alchemist. I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited. Let's fucking go.
Reach one, teach one. Got a Mexican homie named Chinese Mike.
Got a Mexican homie named Chinese Mike? All right.
All black cutty, and he got that right. If you ain't got that green, then he might see red. If you ain't watering the seeds, then how we grow.
That's a very interesting verse, but also very on brand for Danny. Oh, hey, that's the Alchemist over there. I didn't realize he was going to actually be in the video. The video seemed weird enough that he would just not be anywhere nearby. Yeah, it's an intro verse. It really just sounds like a Danny Brown verse. Tantor, if you aren't aware, is also another word for elephant. I forgot what language it's in, but maybe that has some play. We'll listen to the rest of the track and find out.
Reach one, teach one. Can show you to the water how you eat, son. This that Black Lives Matter, still sniff cocaine. Pay for a therapist, but I still ain't changed.
What a wild thing to say. This that Black Lives Matter, still sniff cocaine. Just a whole race bit. He also, before he got to that bar, he said, got a problem with bumping you an absentee. Bump cocaine. This that Black Lives Matter, still sniff cocaine. That's funny. That just sounds really funny. Like, you're supporting Black Lives Matter, but you're also you very much need the white stuff. At least that's how you might want to take it. Other people can take it. Oh, there's other ways to take it, I'm sure. And then him paying for a therapist and still ain't change. Yeah, I mean, if you've watched his podcast, yeah, he just very much is still very Danny Brown. There are certain parts of him, like he acknowledges more so now, but yeah, he's still Danny Brown. All right, so that song was very interesting. It wasn't exactly what I expected, but I don't know what I expected because Danny Brown's music is kind of all over the place sometimes. This very much does feel like current Danny Brown, as well as like old Danny Brown, you could say. I say current Danny Brown because Scaring the Hose is the last stuff that came out. And yeah, beat-wise, it sounds similar enough. It's interesting that The Alchemist produced this because it doesn't sound like an Alchemist beat, but also The Alchemist is super flexible. He's versatile. Now, as far as the song itself, it's interesting. There's some message to it, but I think what really stood out to me is the video itself, because it really shows a lot of Danny's interests and where he is currently. Danny Brown is a weird podcast person now, but also streams and loves JRPGs and just weird video game stuff. So that really stood out in this video. Like there was a whole section where it was like a fighting game, and there were multiple times where it turned into like not necessarily pixel art, but like maybe like 90s, early 2000s video game graphics, which was pretty cool. It was an interesting change in the video. Now the song itself, it's interesting. I don't know at what point in the album this is going to be. According to the supposed track list on Genius, this is the second track. If that is the case, sure, that makes sense. It definitely does feel like an intro sort of track, especially with that second verse. But yeah, overall, I think it's a cool track. The production is probably going to be a thing that a lot of people aren't going to grab onto right away. And I know a lot of people are going to compare this album to Atrocity Exhibition just because that's the one that everyone loves. But I think it's more important to think of this project as Danny Brown at 40 years old. Like, what is the sound that he's going to be doing? What is he doing in general? What I think we're probably going to get with the project is a mix of stuff leading up to him being 40 and then stuff that he wants to do now that he is 40. I don't know if this project is also executive produced by Q-Tip, but if that is the case, I think we'll be good. Because you know what I'm saying came out, and that was the one that was announced to be produced by Q-Tip, and I really liked it because it felt very focused and intentional, but not everyone did. But anyways, that is enough rambling from me. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this song and what your expectations for Quaranta is. And while you're down there, like and subscribe to see more rambling and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.